we're going to be talking to the maven of sexual fantasies tonight. She is the #1 inventor of sex toys in the world. She speaks on sexual fantasies, on sex toys, and on what we call romance items, which require batteries. She's the mother of 5, and she's the inventor of what Red Book magazine calls Tongue, the most outrageous sexual toy ever invented. Here she is, everybody, Daryl Brown. Daryl, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Sexual fantasies.
Yes.
Tell us how you got involved in the whole sexual fantasy and sexual toy business.
Well, it was really a man that inspired me for the tongue. But sexual fantasies, I mean, they're very much a part of women today. Women use sexual fantasies even more than men to heighten their arousal. And the tongue, of course, was from once thinking, gee, it's never fast enough, long enough. Everybody gets tired. I've got a Mabushi motor in that with a failure rate of 1 in a million. Now, how many men can attest to that?
Matter of opinion.
Matter of opinion. Matter of opinion.
Well, we're not trying to put you out of business. We're just trying to make your business a little more interesting.
Leave a little room for me, you know.
We've got a question here from Vivian.
How do you make fantasy a regular part of your love life?
Well, it does get easier, but I think it helps in a partner situation, for instance. You'll find when you do open up and share a fantasy with your partner that quite often their fantasies might be different, but they're very complementary to one another. So I think a big thing is communication and sharing that with your partner, and it just escalates from there and sharing ideas, having lots of fun.
What happens if you're shy? What happens if you haven't done this before and you really want to try it? What would you suggest?
Well, I would certainly start off soft so that you do have some sort of a comfort level. Certainly educating oneself. There are lots of books out there that are fun to read. Also some very soft erotica films that are designed for women. But certainly just sharing ideas and opening your mind and educating yourself to feel more comfortable. That lots of women feel that way. We feel we're so unique and standing alone.
What's the most common thing a person asks you about the toys?
What is a mother of 5 doing in the sex industry? We didn't tell our children what we did. They're much older now, but the byproduct of that was that they developed a very healthy attitude toward human sexuality, and I think that's really what it's all about. Just becoming more comfortable with human sexuality. It was an evolutionary process.
And I think it's a public service, right?
Well, I feel now that I'm an advocate for women in the bedroom, and that women, housewives, mothers, career women.
Well, as Koji mentioned, Daryl, you know, you travel all around the world and you're considered an expert on the subject. You'd be a good barometer, I guess, for people's sexual fantasies. Is there one kind of sexual fantasy that you hear about recurring all the time, or does it span the whole gamut?
Well, they're really the #1 fantasy, as last reported by Masters and Johnson, is
other than being with me,
is sex
like
with another partner, someone that you know. It could be her husband's boss or a friend, but that's the #1 fantasy for women.
Koji, yeah.
Koji for sure.
Of thousands of women, right?
Yeah,
that is our #1 fantasy.
So you don't mean with 3 people, but rather just with somebody else?
Just with someone else that they know in their lives.
Oh,
so
interesting you should say that. Nancy Friday, who's written a series of books called My Secret Garden and Forbidden Flowers.
Wonderful author.
What she did was she did her thesis, and she just had women send in their sexual fantasies, and they were so interesting and so many and so diverse, and just like we are, you know, diverse in so many things, we're certainly diverse in our sexual fantasies.
So, Daryl, I'm sure a lot of inquiring minds want to know, what's one of your little deep, dark, sexy fantasies?
Ooh, I'm a married woman. I have 5 kids.
You still have fantasies? Okay, I'm cool. I'm so good. I'm all right. I'm okay. Next.